Hopefully Hazer will be good here in a moment. I do know that we have a little bit of a time constraint with one of our guests. So real quick, hey everybody, thank you for joining in for this week's media availability as the Knighthawks are getting ready to go to Ottawa. It's our last road game of the regular season, take on the Black Bears. We have head coach Mike Hasen on this call, along with players Ryland, Rees, and Connor Fields. Connor is going or has another commitment coming up here, so we are going to try and expedite his time with us today. So what we will do is kind of jump into questions first for Fieldsy, and we'll still go around the chat here. So when it's your turn to ask questions, you can ask questions to everybody, including individuals. But just we ask you that if you have any questions for Connor Fields, that you get those asked first. So that being said, why don't we kick it off with one of you guys? And we just are adding somebody else to the call right now. So let's see here. Chamberlain, do you want to have some fun here and get things started?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So I'll go with Connor first then as we get started here. For you, Connor, you weren't there when you were on the team and they set the initial franchise record of 19 goals actually against Panther City a couple of years ago. So how did it feel to finally be with the squad when they break over 20 goals in a game?
Yeah, I was a little jealous when I missed that last one. I mean, it was awesome. I think those are the games. Every game's I think obviously a lot of fun to be a part of. The close ones are a lot of fun to be a part of. But a game like that where you put up that number, I think it's obviously a great night. I think you looked up and down the roster, and everyone contributed, which was awesome to see too. So, I think those ones you kind of get in a rhythm, you get in a flow. The D was getting a lot of stops for us that kind of let us get, on that run. And then offensively, once you kind of see the ball start going in the net once or twice, then you kind of get in your rhythm. And I felt like we did that, at a pretty quick pace. I also think it showed a lot too, for our team to go down the way we did in the beginning of the game and, answer and respond. So that was another, cool little part of the game.
Yeah, my only other thing for you, Connor. So it's always every season it's talking about that full 60. These couple of games, last couple though, it hasn't had to be the full 60 to come away with the game. Obviously, you still have to play the fourth quarter, but how do you still gain from those games when you get into it and you don't necessarily need that full intensity for every minute when you then are going to roll into a team this weekend that likely not going to let you put 21 in the back of the net against them?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think in terms of the full 60, we've had a lot of games this year where we did need the full 60, or it came down to the full 60, right? Where we lost in the last couple seconds, or we solidified the game in the last couple seconds. So I guess to answer your question, these last couple games not needing the full 60, I feel like we didn't necessarily need it, but we played like we did, and that was the mentality we like to have is. Whether we're up 10 goals or down 10 goals, we try to play our best at all points in the game. And, for us to go into, I think there's a lot to take away, right? We just had a long road trip and, to get those wins on the road, like you said, where we don't necessarily need the full 60, I think it just shows a lot about this team and our group. But, like you said, coming into this game, and pretty much every game in this league, there's not many that you don't need the full 60. So for us, it's just sticking to our principles, sticking to our game plan. I think Hazer instilled in us, right, one play at a time, and we really been playing and thinking with that mentality in mind. And when you do that, I feel like that's when you play your best, and that's when you play your full 60. So for us, we feel like we're playing well right now. I think there's still room for growth. And I think you want to be playing your best lacrosse at the end of the season. So for us, it's not necessarily looking at the score, of those last couple games, or even during the game looking at the score. It's just focusing on that next shift, that next play, or in terms of the bigger picture, right? This coming game for us. and just focusing it one thing at a time and let the rest do itself. So we want to come in this week. We trained for it all week. We had a really good practice. We've been practicing really well, training for that full 60. So, we're confident we can play that when needed.
Awesome. Thanks, Fieldsy.
Thank you.
Sam, do you want to jump in here? If you have anything for Connor Fields?
I'm actually good. I thank you. I'm just listening. I'm good. Appreciate it.
Sure. Let's see here. Who do we want to go with next? Matt Cullen?
Thanks very much. I can jump in. I appreciate you all doing this here today. Connor, I'm Matt Cullen. I'll be doing the game with the TSN crew here. Jason and Brianne are also on the call. You're poised to become the first player to reach the 100-point plateau for the third straight season. So I'm just wondering, in terms of your mentality, how have you been able to find so much success in such a tough league with so many great offensive players?
Yeah, well, first, excited for the game this weekend. So take it easy on us on the call. So for I guess, in terms of that, to answer your question, it's not, I wouldn't, and I think if you ask anyone in the league, it might be an individual stat, but I don't see it to be individual. I think that's a testament to the team, the offense, the coaching, the scheme that's put into play. I'm just a piece, right? And I think for me, and for the rest of the guys offensively, we play well off each other. We feed off each other's energy. So, I think it to answer your question, for in terms of points, I think it's a really, cool little stat. But it really, isn't just me. It's the guys around me, right? The guys who are coming onto the floor full speed, right? The guys who are setting picks, who are passing, who are finishing on, my feeds. It's a big picture. It's not just me, out there all by myself doing it. So, it's a credit to those guys, because I really do think we have a great team, great coaching staff and great culture where we could all thrive in our positions. And for me, I just feel lucky to be a part of this team and this offense, because it's a lot of fun to be a part of. And, when you're having fun, I think you're playing your best. And, I think you're seeing that with us, especially as of late. So, yeah, it's a testament to the team.
I mean, it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun out there. You've really turned your season around, and right now you're on the doorstep of the playoffs here. I've noticed that you've had considerable success on the road as well. You've won 4 of your last 5 away from home. Has there been a considerable effort from you or the coaching staff or the team about playing better away from home, or how are you going into buildings and silencing opposition crowds?
I think in terms of that, we love playing at home, and we get we feel like we have a great fan base at home, and we get a huge advantage when we're playing at home. Having it's tough playing on the road anywhere, and having that record on the road, I think, is a testament to this team. I think, just in terms of that, we kind of go out and just focus one game at a time, and I think that's what we're doing. Whether it's home or away, and I think. We knew our playoffs for us, were different than the whole league, right? Because we lose 1 or 2 games and, we kind of fall out of that playoff picture. So that's kind of the way we looked at it. Starting in the beginning of this road trip, we really didn't have time to lose a game, or 2 games. So that's the way we were looking at it. And I think that's how the little things started adding up to this bigger picture of now, like you said, 4 or 5 on the road. And that's the way we're going to continue to do it. One game at a time, one play at a time. And, playing on the road is not easy, but we know towards the end of the season now we get a nice home stretch, and that crowd gives us a huge jump. So, we're happy how we've been playing, but, we can't wait for this weekend, and then we can't wait to return home.
Nice. Well, thanks again. I'll let the rest of the guys jump in here. Appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
Brianne, I'll go if that's all right. Yeah. So one of the key matchups is one of the highest goals for versus the highest goals against. When you look at the high production of your offensive unit right now to one of the toughest defense to play against. How are you guys approaching this game, specifically knowing that your best asset is their best asset?
Yeah, it's never easy going against any team in this league, and it's if you score against this team, right, you might as well keep the ball. I think, for us offensively as a group, Haser and our coaching staff do a great job with us getting, the scout to us, getting, clips to watch. So I feel like the pregame preparation, it all started throughout this week that, getting ready for this game. But at the end of the day, no matter what team we're going against, we feel like when we execute our game plan and play the way we're capable of, that, we are able to win any game, but as an offensive group, we're able to put the ball in the back end of the net. So for us, it's really focusing on, obviously we have the scout and stuff that we're keeping note of, but it's just playing our game, going out there with, our game plan, but, more specifically, just being us, going, entering the floor hard, getting through the middle, setting good picks, hitting our shots, and just not letting them get comfortable, I think, is a big thing for us. So, I feel like when you start to play into a defense's tendencies and they're more comfortable playing, it gets really hard to score, especially in this league. So for us, it's just making them, uncomfortable, making them work, and, making them not know what's coming next. And we play our game. We feel very confident.
Good. Brianne?
Hey, Connor, we'll let you go right after this. I just have one for you. Just being a dual citizen with Canada and the United States, how important is it right now to just keep the game? I know this is a tight-knit community, and just like keep the focus on growing the game in both these countries, even though the political landscape right now is a little bit complicated.
Yeah, I think, this is all, like you said, politics aside, everything aside. I think, lacrosse is the medicine game, right, in which it's called. And, for us to go out there and to play the game we love, we feel very privileged. And, when I go out there, and I'm sure when a lot of the guys go out there, Rees here could probably speak on it as well. You think of yourself when you're that age, right, or a kid in the stands. And, I think of I grew up in Buffalo, so I hate to bring them up, but I was going to the Bandits games, right? And just thinking of myself in those seats, wishing, and hoping one day I'd be out there. So, I think the sport's growing so fast, and, for me, and I'm sure for all of us, right, to be a part of, the growth, and this is important. And we want to be, good role models for the next generation. And the next generation is going to be, a lot better than we are, just, what they're seeing clips of what they're already, some shots they're already doing and stuff like that. So for me, it's always just, it is a medicine game, right? I go out there and you kind of forget about all the little things, right? You forget about everything, and you're just, focused on the task at hand, and you're just having fun out there playing. So I think the growth of the game is huge. And, for me personally, I always think of myself and, those people in the stands or watching on TV shoes. And, I really do think it's an honor for us to be playing out there. So I make sure to remind myself that every game.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Fieldsy, we're going to let you get out of here if you want to. That way you can go ahead and do your thing. So thanks for the time.
Awesome. Thank you all. See you this weekend.
All right, guys. Well, we will go ahead and resume here. Haser, I just want to check in on you again. Do we have you?
I think I found the button. Is that the right one?
That is the right one. You've got it.
There we go.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we still have Ryland Rees on the call in addition to head coach Mike Hasen, as you can now hear him. So let's go ahead and circle back. Actually, you know what, Sam? You didn't have anything for Fieldsy. Do you have anything for Haser or Rees?
I do. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good there, Sam. How you doing?
Good. Hey, we talked a little bit last week about what it would mean to get back to 500 again, and talk about the effort there in that game, getting down like you were, and how they were able to respond comparatively to what would have happened a little bit earlier in the season, and just about how proud of you were of your team with the effort that you gave last week, and really fight there and put yourselves right in the mix for a playoff spot now.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like, early wasn't the greatest, but I'm glad Vegas gave us a bit of a wake-up call early enough that we could respond. Again, I think I said it at one point, but they gave us a quick reminder of what this game meant to us as well, and we picked up the pace, and we were really good. We were very physical on both ends of the floor, offensively hitting our shots, defensively killing clocks, getting in lanes. It was just a complete effort that, like I say, we played for just about the entire game. It's what we needed to do to continue.
What You took Ryland out there. What was your thought process on that? Just to kind of change things up a little bit, or what was your what was your idea there?
Yeah, no, it's one of the things that we have confidence in, basically in both. I didn't think Hearts was seeing the ball very well. And like I say, 4 goals and 5 shots, just like take a breath. And Hutchie made a couple saves, and Hutchie made a whole bunch of saves to secure the win for us. And then late, Hutchie started again not feeling it, took a breath, and he closed it out for us. So that's the one thing that we've said as a group here is that we have confidence in both guys. If one's going to stumble, the other one's going to help out. And if we're good to go, we're good to go with the tandem.
This week, Ottawa. What do you know about them? What do they bring to the table? And how important is this here, considering you do have them? 2 of the next 3 games will be against them. How important is it to try to grab this one on the road, final road game of the year? And you've been playing pretty well on the road, but what would the importance be in this one?
Yeah, this one's huge. Like I say, you don't want to project too far ahead because again, we are really focusing on the shift at hand, and just putting a whole bunch of shifts together. But yeah, this is big. This could be a big swing for our season, right? Especially this one. We want to continue that. Continue the confidence and continue that role that we are on. But they're going to be a handful. Like Higgins there is one of the elite goaltenders in this league. Defensively, they're big, they're strong, they're physical. They play with place. And again, offensively, they may have had a bit of up and down year, but there's not a time where you watch them or whether you're playing against them, know that they can't go off for a whole whack. So we got to be at our absolute best every shift, and that's what we've been focusing on the last few weeks here, and we just got to continue that focus.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam.
Chamberlain, do you have anything for Haser or Ryland Rees?
I do for both, actually. I'll start with Haser real quick. First one to kind of add off of Sam a little bit, just what are the starting plans for this Saturday for that goal situation?
The Hearts will get the call back in net, and she's ready to go.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. And then all in all, talk about this as it was brought up earlier. It's the defense that allows the least goals versus the offense that's putting up the most shots, scoring the most goals. When you come into a game like this, where, obviously on one end of the floor, you have a great specialist in goal for Ottawa, and on the opposite end, you have one of the maybe best talents that the game has to offer. Obviously, you have a lot of familiarity with them. How do you go from playing a 21-13 game to facing a team that is used to a 9-8 or a single?
Yeah, that's I'm not going to say really tricky because we're going to continue to do what we do. We've been playing with great intensity, especially in that front end there the last handful of weeks, and we're going to continue on that. Like you say, we shoot a lot. That's not going to change. We get on the floor with a purpose. The shots become a little bit easier. They'll kind of open up and create some gaps, and we're going to shoot. And if they go in, they go in. If not, we're going to just stick with it. That's one thing that we have been doing a good job with, is that we've been consistent in our effort. We haven't, mind you, we've had success, but we haven't strayed away from what we got to do as a group. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to play our way. That's the way we know how. That's the way we've been successful. That's how we're going to live or die by it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. For Rees, just 2 quick ones. First, obviously, against a team when it's averaging low scores like this, just how important is production in transition in a game like this?
Yeah, I think it's important, but I don't think it's really much different than other games. I think we know what our offense can do, and obviously everyone saw that last week. But it's not going to happen every single week, and that means we just got to continue to do our job, get them the ball, and keep letting them get into a flow and build some chemistry throughout the game. And if we can help out with a couple in transition, obviously it's super nice. But our job is get that ball to the offensive guys and let them do theirs. So like Fieldsy and Coach Hasen have been talking about, we really buy into that shift by shift. And, if we don't get a goal, then we need to stop. And if it goes back and forth, then, we just got to continue to do our job and lean in and trust each other that everyone at the end of the day is going to kind of give their full effort to do their job.
Right, definitely. Last thing for your research, obviously through this season, Coates's been out of the lineup here and there as time goes on. Just throughout this season and maybe even into last season, how much have you felt yourself and Matt Gilray grow as leaders for this defensive group?
Yeah, I think obviously with Coatesy, not in the game it's a big loss. He's such a big vocal leader for us. He's a veteran. He leads by example. He's just the hardest working person you'll ever meet. So, with him out of the lineup, it's hard, but there's so many leaders on this team that I get to lean on, and I talk to Coatsy all the time. But we got Tutton and Lordy, Gilray, we got Evans. There's so many guys like Smitty and Fieldsy on the offensive end that we're all contributing, just leaning on each other. Coatsy he's given us, he's still talking to everyone. He's still part of this team. But we're all just leading together, and Coach Hazen's leading that ship, and it's just trusting in each other and trusting that everyone's intent is kind of that same goal at the end of the day. So I think myself and Gilray have just been learning from a lot of good people, and we're just doing it all together.
Awesome. That's all I got. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Chamberlain. All right, Ottawa broadcast crew. We got Matt, Brianne, Jason. You guys want to sort of take turns here? Have at it for both Reeser and Coach Hasen.
I got a question for you. So, I mean, game film is critically important. Understanding, player tendencies and systems is critically important. So, one of the challenges Ottawa's had is trying to figure out the chemistry. So they've, picked up Travis Longboat. So more for Coach. How do you prep your guys when you have an unknown variable like that that's going to enter into the game film reviews?
Yeah, it makes it a little bit different, a little bit challenging, I guess, to a certain point. But there's also film back from a couple years where he was with that group for the most part as well, right? And that chemistry there. Different years, older, like say, things they do are obviously different. But a big factor is who's going to control the pace of the game. Is 51, right? Like the ball's in his stick, and we got a big focus on what he does because he makes everybody so much better, no matter who's on the floor with him. You throw a different variable instead of Moose back there, Matisse, you got Longboat. But again, a lot depends on what 57 or 51 is doing. That's not our entire focus. That is a big focus of ours, and probably for every single team that comes to places and faces these guys.
Yeah, I assume the objective is to balance the floor a little bit more, so it doesn't make it easy to focus on the flow through 5-1, right?
100%. Yeah,
that is a strategy, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, we'll try and get our matchups out there. But yeah, and again, that's the thing with our group. It's always been a group that doesn't necessarily worry about one. It's worried about 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And just the extra steps. And yeah, we're prepared to face and adapt to whatever they're going to throw our way.
Okay, thanks.
I'll jump in next here, actually. Just one question for the both of you. We'll start with Coach. 3 p.m. start obviously gets everybody out of the routine on both sides of the ball. How are you addressing that? From what I understand, there's no shoot around in the morning, but how are you making sure that the guys are fresh and ready to go here for opening draw?
Yeah, I know we've got to, like I say, get them up a half decent time. I guess tomorrow we'll have breakfast together, and again, that's something that we do normally on game days. And then we'll go through a video session. I think the biggest thing for us this week has been our preparation on Tuesday. Generally this time of year, you kind of take a step back as far as practice is concerned. This week we didn't. Coming home from Vegas, number one, the boys had a good time out there. So we wanted to make sure we sweat some of that out of them. but at the same time, that was our shooter. That was our shooter. Like I say, it was a focus of us that this is the last time we're going to be on the floor before Saturday, which is different, as you said. So we're going to go as hard as we possibly can for the hour and a half that we did. It was really good, and like I say, we'll have some breakfast, we'll have some video, we'll do what you got to do, and we'll be prepared to go at 3:00.
All right, thank you, Ryland. Do you have a thought on the 3 p.m. start? Like it, not like it?
It's different. Once you're in a routine, it's different. It's awkward when you have to change. But did it all throughout college. It's not completely new to everyone, but a lot of guys are very heavy on routine, so it's a little bit different. But no, it's I think it's just a variable that a lot of teams have to face this season, and for us, it's just going to be that same mindset of we got one goal in mind, and we're going to do the breakfast and do the film that we need to do, and do stretch whatever in the morning, and do whatever we have to do to get prepared. But I don't mind the 3 p.m., but it's a little bit different.
All right, appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you Saturday. Thanks a lot.
Mike,
Awesome.
I just have to say that's one of the funniest lines referred to a practice as the Vegas sweat out. I'm going to have to work really hard not to say that at some point.
It's true, though.
I know. That's why it's funny, because it's true. Yeah.
I think I'm good, so thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. One last one, just in case. Ripper, I know you're on here. Do you have anything for either Rees or Haser before we let them go?
I do not. I'm good. I got to talk to Reeser today, and I'll see Haser, and I see Fieldsy all the time. So I'm good. Good. Great questions, and should be a good game.
Awesome, guys. All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody for your time. Haser, Reeser, appreciate you guys with your patience as we wanted to get through Fields first. But thank you everybody, and have fun this weekend in Ottawa.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
your time, guys.
Cheers, guys. Safe travels.